Okay, hello, how's it going? Good morning, good evening, whenever you tune into this. Hello, hope you're well. At the time of recording, it is Tuesday. It's March 10th, and by the time you see this, it'll likely be the beginning of July or something like that. So, what's up, time traveler? How's it going? So, one thing that I heard recently that I want to talk about in this is the idea of being a strong person and like things around that. Basically, what they were saying in their video was that like if you're a weak person, if you are somebody who's easily manipulated, you'll probably have a lot easier of a time in life versus somebody who has a strong will, a strong determination, a sense of ambition, a sense of purpose or whatever. And it's definitely a thing. It's definitely a thing for sure. That if you have a strong sense of self, you'll be more likely to be targeted and like attacked and shit like that. And a separate video that I had saw also adjacent to this topic is that like when you're a strong person, when you're spiritually centered and shit like that, you have to find people and just like specifically they were talking about partnership, but like people in general who can like match that. And like, because once again, as a strong person, you will likely be more attacked in life. And so if you're dating somebody, they should be able to like handle that and take the same sort of attacks that you take, you know? And I was thinking about that in relation to my own partner right now. And I already know he's not that strong-minded. And we almost broke up the other day again, and we were having a really intense conversation where I was basically saying stuff like that, like, you know, I need more, like, you know, and I don't think he's capable of giving me. I've already accepted that. But also, if I could divulge a tiny bit, I haven't smoked this morning yet. I did sleep last night and I haven't smoked yet. Woke up and I got into playing that motivational AI music that I've been listening to. I'm listening to it now as we speak. I've been listening to it since I woke up, I think, more or less. And I had some water. I danced a little bit. That was nice. I probably should not have worn this whatever you call it, because it's really heavy. I'm gonna take it off. Yeah, because it's really hot today, or at least I feel hot. The sun is beaming on me today. But yeah, if you are a strong person, if you're wanting to be a strong person, just know that there are going to be people who target you and people who don't want to see you shine, they don't want to see you do good because they're fucking miserable about their lives and they can't reconcile the fact that like they could just make improvements to their lives. You know what I mean? And to some degree, that's why jealousy and envy are so dangerous, because the idea behind it is that it's inspiration, but you don't perceive it that way. You perceive it as like insecurity, as lack on your end, you know? Because ideally, if you're jealous of somebody, if you're envious of somebody, that's something that you want in your life, you know? And so ideally you would make steps to emulate what you're witnessing, what you're jealous of, what you're envious of. But unfortunately, part of that process is recognizing that you are feeling those feelings of jealousy or envy. That's one part of the process, to acknowledge that, to be honest with yourself about it, you know, because you can't heal something that you're not willing to be honest about, you know? Like, there have been a few moments where I've witnessed somebody, one of my peers or whatever, and I felt a pinch of like jealousy or whatever you call it, you know, and the feeling itself is not bad. There were so many people foolishly trying to shame people for feeling jealous or for sharing their jealous feelings, and it's like, no, this is why the problem will never be solved, because y'all continue shaming yourselves and then projecting that same shame onto other people when it's not necessary. Like, there's no need to shame the feeling. The feeling itself is not a bad thing. That's like shaming depression and being like, oh, you have depression, you're a fucked up person. No, what makes you a fucked up person is having depression and then using that as an excuse to hurt other people. What is fucked up is having these things and then using them as excuses to hurt other people. There was this one girl who was going, this younger girl who was going viral for a video where she was talking about her jealousy towards an old friend, an ex-friend. And a lot of the comments were trying to shame her, trying to make her feel bad, and to some degree, because of how transparent she was. And a lot of the video, it was very self-aware. It was very like, I know what this is and I know that this is potentially dangerous. I don't think that I was being dangerous, but it could be dangerous, and this is partially why it was a good thing that this ended, because I was feeling these things and I wasn't processing them, you know? And all of the people in the comments commenting stupid shit about like, well, you should have done this, or like, this was wrong, or, are the same people who also probably feel jealous for their friends and don't want to process it, you know? And another thing, like, people can only receive you as far as they've received themselves. And this is unfortunately why a lot of good people get perceived as like the bad guy, because if you've never actually genuinely received that energy. Also, another aspect of it, oh my god, another aspect of it was, I think this was another separate video that I saw, but somebody was like, I wanted to love you, but you hated your reflection. And this is basically something I've come across a lot. Like, when people aren't used to genuine kindness, genuine energy, and they receive it from somebody, whether on a romantic level or platonic level, it's jarring. It's a little bit too much. It can be disarming. And it's unfortunate. It is something that often isolates the lover archetype, because at some point you have to learn that we live in a world, this earth reality, this planet, this world is drenched in distortion, drenched in hatred, and so many negative things. And in order to rise above that, like, I don't know, I'm sorry, I went on a tangent. Anyways, some people, because they don't like their own reflection, they don't like looking at themselves truthfully and honestly and critically, when somebody shows up and treats them well, it gives them an opportunity to, like, not so much have to focus on the negativity of the other person, because there's no negativity in that situation. It's just somebody bringing positivity to them, and then that gives them an opportunity to look at themselves, whether or not they want to, but that's the opportunity. And if they don't want to, then it becomes a thing of like, okay, I need to run away, I need to get away, I need to hide because this hurts, this feels uncomfortable, I don't like this feeling, a feeling seen, a feeling exposed, a feeling understood. Like, and I remember I had a psychosis moment back in Fort Wayne, and I don't think it was a psychosis moment. I'm just saying that because I do recognize at the time I was a little bit off my rocker. But at some point I had the idea that, like, I was one of God's soldiers, and I was meant to, like, go around meeting people and talking to people and, like, seeing how people act in my energy. And once again, I was going through psychosis, so it wasn't a very grounded perspective, I think. But I do believe that, like, if you sign up to be an agent of good, of the divine, then that to some degree does require you to kind of, like, put yourself into certain situations, you know. And I say require, you don't have to do anything, free will, but that's part of the assignment, like like meeting people. And there's been plenty of people that I've met, that I came into contact with, that I came into the frequency of, and it was so clear to me. It was like, you know, I'm only here to like be a sort of test to you, because you've never met somebody like me. So we're gonna see how you're gonna act when you come across somebody like me. And a lot of the times people fail, unfortunately. People have to learn the hard way that they should respect higher power. Is one of those things, one of the lessons. Respect higher power, respect higher forces, respect God, if you will. Another one of those things is generally just to treat people decently, like treat people how you want to be treated, you know. And a lot of people do start to think that I'm doing witchcraft on them or some stupid shit when their life goes to shit. And it's like, no, bitch, you just messed with somebody who was very protected and very aware of themselves, and now you have to deal with the consequences. Like, and people don't want to believe that. People don't want to believe, because a lot of times those same sorts of people have treated people that way all of their lives, and there's been no negative consequence. Like, if anything, there's been positive consequence, you know? And so it's a little bit life-altering to deal with somebody and then have to be nice to them, you know? And I can't personally understand being mean to somebody. Whether or not it works out, like, I can't personally... I remember another time when I was going through psychosis, way back, one of my first psychosis, and I had it in my mind that I was like God, and that I could control the people around me or make them do whatever I wanted. And there was this one younger guy that I thought was attractive, and he was a tough cookie. He was definitely not someone to boss around. You could probably stroke his ego, you could probably convince him to do certain things, but as when I had that moment, and I told him to pull up, and I think I called him a bitch or whatever. I was like, pull up, bitch, and he was like, no, the fuck. I don't know how he perceived it. I don't know if it was a turn on. I don't know if it was genuinely a turn off, but it was funny. And I don't know. I don't understand. Like, you'd have to literally think that we were in a simulation. You'd literally have to think that other people did not have biological feelings and responses to think that you could just control people and, like, not have to, you know what I mean? But we also live in a world where what you put out is what you get back in return. So, you know, and I don't know. There's a difference between somebody wanting to be abused and not. You know that song Sweet Dreams, Marilyn Manson? Some people want to be used, some people want to whatever. Like, there are a lot of people, once again, if you're a weak person, to some degree, you don't mind being pulled around and told what to do, because you don't want to have to think for yourself. You don't want to have to be responsible for your own actions. So it's a lot easier to outsource your responsibility to somebody else and just be like, well, I don't know the answers. You seem to know the answers. You tell me what to do. And I don't like that. I don't like that. Like, when I started setting out for my following and, like, my platform, one of the things that I set out for was to have people, how do I say this? To have people following me who are free thinkers, who think for themselves, you know? And I think that's a tough crowd to entertain. I'm sorry. It's because I think about it and I'm thinking about it now. It's a hard crowd to entertain because I'm not trying to, like, stroke anybody's ego. I'm not trying to, like, you know, control it. But, like, it wouldn't have been possible anyway because they're not going to allow it. So, I don't know. I think it's funny. There's a person in the, I guess he's working. Once again, I haven't smoked yet. I do have a little bit of weed at home that I could smoke, but I wanted to get more. I'm supposed to work tonight, and I don't know, I have a little bit of surplus of money. I have like $30 or something, and so I'm gonna get a little chunk of Mary J, and I'm gonna try to space out the time that I smoke. I'm getting a ride to work by my partner, and I'm gonna get dropped off early because he has to go to work at a certain time, and so he can't, like, I would have to get a lift or something. I would have to find another way to work if I wanted to be on time, but I don't know. It worked out yesterday. I went to work like 2 hours early. I ended up clocking in an hour early, and I also got to record some tarot videos. So I haven't been posting tarot consistently on here. The YouTube is a very different vibe than TikTok, and I'm okay with that. This is more candid, this is more transparent, this is more vulnerable, and I don't mind it, especially since nobody's really watching yet. But when people do start watching, it's gonna, I don't know, I feel like it's gonna start feeling a little bit odd because nobody really tunes into these as far as I'm aware. Like, occasionally somebody watches, occasionally a few people watch and like the video, but I'm just posting it to the void, and whatever happens, happens. It is really nice out today, though, and I'm thankful for that. Yeah, because I have a high tolerance for pain, or discomfort, I should say. Maybe not pain, but discomfort for sure. I can handle a lot. But like I was saying to my partner, that doesn't mean I should have to, you know? And like I said before, I do really think it's important. Like, if you're a strong person, if you're somebody who's very spiritually centered or whatever, it's really important that you have a partner, you have friends around you who match that energy, who think similarly to you. And it's not just about, because then a lot of people hear that and they think on egoic terms, they think on the surface of like, oh, so you just want an echo chamber, you just want people around you to be yes men. No, it's energetic. It's about safety, it's about protection. Like, a lot of animals don't travel alone because it can be dangerous to travel alone. You know what I mean? And in the same sense, sure, you might not be traveling alone physically, but spiritually, are they present? Spiritually, are they aware of what's going on? Spiritually, do they recognize the potential dangers that are around you? You know what I'm saying? Because then you might as well be alone. You know? But yeah, and also another part of it, you have to date somebody. You have to be friends with people who like themselves, who love themselves to some degree, respect themselves. Because, like I said before, if you show up and you love these people and you give them what they're not giving themselves, if they're not ready for it, if they're not capable of receiving what you're and reciprocating, a lot of the times it turns into them running away or sabotaging the connection because they're not used to it and they don't know what to do in a healthy connection. You know, because now they have to look at themselves, now they have to think about their own actions. That's too much for a lot of people. Me personally, I've never been one to shy away from asking myself deeper questions. So I personally can't really wrap my head around the idea of running away from deeper questions. Personally, because I've always been that type of person, like in this lifetime. But unfortunately, a lot of people are not like this. And a lot of people do run away from themselves. And unfortunately, we don't exist in a vacuum. So when you run away from yourselves, you're also impacting other people. You're also affecting other people. And that's what a lot of people don't want to reconcile. It's like, why can't I just be in a vacuum? Why can't I run away and this just be okay? You know what I mean? But it's not, because we don't live in a fucking vacuum. And like, I'm not saying that you should base your life decisions based off of other people, but sometimes if you genuinely care about somebody, if you genuinely care about a person, you do have to take their feelings into consideration when you're making big life decisions. I'm not saying, once again, that you should not make certain decisions, but something to consider, you know? Also, at the time of recording, I'm just under 1,500 when it comes to car savings. And now all of this isn't accessible to me right now, but it is a thing. And hopefully I am able to access it all at once. Hopefully the first batch of money is accessed, then I don't know how it's gonna work, but hopefully. I mean, I know I've been making progress. There's just a part of me, because I'm so ambitious, because I'm so forward focusing, there's a part of me that gets super hard on myself unnecessarily because I'm not seeing progress as quickly as I'd like. And that's a me issue. That's something I need to work out, because it's like, you're doing so much already and there's already so much resistance against you. Like, you're doing great. You're doing wonderful. It's unfortunate that it can't go faster. Well, it could if you were to do certain things, but it's okay. It's okay. You can be patient with yourself. It's okay. Because for the most part, I'm really doing this by myself. Like, I don't think that there's anybody around who, in my circle, in my energy. Well, there have been a few people who have come into my streams and told me, "You're gonna get your car today this year. You're gonna do that." And I don't know. I just kind of take it with a grain of salt. I'm just like, thanks. I hope so. You know. Oh wow, there's a tornado drill at this school right here. Oh wow. Okay, is there a tornado coming or something? What? Okay, I feel like I've said a lot in this video, so I'm going to end this here over the loudspeaker. I'm just going to keep talking over the loudspeaker. Hello. Hopefully I don't know how that is going to come across in the audio. But thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your presence. I thank you so much to the Patreon members, everybody who helps support me off of here, on here, all of that. You know who you are. You have my heart. To some degree, I appreciate everything that you guys do. And I hope you have a nice rest of your day. I hope you know that Jesus loves you. I hope you know God loves you. I hope you know whatever you're going through is temporary, because everything is temporary, bro. So try to keep your head up. Try to keep your spirits high. I'll see you when I see you. Bye. Also, check out the description down below in the link tree. Or check out the link tree in the description down below in the whatever. Okay, bye.